ihe ọbụla nke anyị na-eme. Nwa anyị nke bi n'eluigwe, anyị na-edo aha gị nsọ, anyị na-ekpe ekpere na-ekpesi ike na-asị ka alaeze gị bụ Biafra ka ọ bịa, ka anyị onwe anyị mee ihe ị na-achọ ọbụladị dịka esi eme ya n'eluigwe. Ma lee ụmụ gị ka a na-akpagbu n'ebe niile dị iche iche, mee ka ndị nke gị si wee gbasasịa n'ebe niile ụwa asọpụrụ, ndị nọ na Asia, ndị nọ na Amerịka, ndị nọ na Ọstrelia, ọbụnadị na Iran, ebe na-adịghị mma anyị alụrọ dịka ohu. Onye nwe anyị, ọ bụ ruo ole mgbe ka anyị ga-agbasasị dịka atụrụ nke na-enweghị onye ndu? Ya mere anyị na-akpọgbu gị n'elu isi obodo anyị, onye nwe anyị, onye pụrụ ime ihe niile, ka idebe were chasịa ọnọdụ nyere anyị aka wee chịkọta ụmụ gị, wee mee ka alaeze gị n'elu ụwa bụ Biafra wee bịa, ka anyị onwe anyị wee laghachi ebe anyị si wee nọkọ, wuo gị ụlọ ukwu ebe anyị ga-anọ wee fee gị ofufe wee jaa gị mma. Onye nwe anyị, anyị dị onye ndu anyị bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-epife n'ọba aka gị dị nsọ, dịka ndị iro kpọrọ ya wee kpọchie wee tụọ ya ịga ọnọrọ na DSS dungeon. Anyị na-akpọku gị, onye pụrụ ime ihe niile, onye enweghị ihe o mere Jehova, anyị arịọ gị ka inye ya nwere onwe nke pụrụ iche, inye ya nwere onwe nke pụrụ iche. Anya ọbụla nke na-ele Nnamdi Kanu anya ọjọọ, onye ọbụla nke na-ekwu okwu kwugide ya, onye nwe anyị, anyị na-ekwubi okwu n'oge awa dịka nke a, na ha ga-ekwu okwu wee kwugide onwe ha, na ha ga-ele anya ahụ wee legide onwe ha, ha ga-agharịta ire ha na atụmatụ ọjọọ ọbụla ka ha na-atụ n'ebe onye isi Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nọ. Anyị na-ekpe nwere onwe nke pụrụ iche n'elu isi ya, nye ya arụ isi ike nke pụrụ iche, nye ya obi nke siri ike, gbado ya na ihe ọ na-eme, duziere ya ụzọ. Atụmatụ ọbụla nke nọ n'ebe ọ nọ, anyị na-ala ha n'iyi. Anyị adịghị nwere onwe nke pụrụ iche n'elu isi Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Anyị na-asị ka o nwere onwe ya, ka o nwere onwe ya, ka o nwere onwe ya. Aka ọbụla nke ji ya n'ime mmụọ, anyị na-atọghapụ aka dị otu ahụ, na-asị ka Maazị Nnamdi Kanu wee nwere onwe ya, wee were obodo anyị bụ Biafra, ebe ndị iro were la mere ebe a na-alụ ọgụ, ebe ndị ndọrọ ndọrọ ọchịchị were mere ihe ịkwafu ọbara dịka enwezi ihe ọ bụ. Onye iwe anyị na Chineke anyị Chukwu okike adị ama, ikere anyị ma mee ka anyị bụrụ ndị na-asọpụrụ ndụ. Ya mere n'olu olu asụsụ anyị, anyị na-akpọ ya mma ndụ, mma nke ndụ. Anyị abụghị ndị na-akọfu ọbara, anyị abụghị ndị na-alụ ọbara n'iyi, anyị abụghị ndị na-eri anụ nke mmadụ, anyị abụghị ndị na-etinye aka anyị na ihe na-adịghị ọcha. Ma n'ụbọchị nke taa, ndị ndọrọ ndọrọ ọchịchị, ụbọchị nke taa, ndị ihe mmadụ ibe ha na-anaghị adị mma agbata na were obodo anyị ya asaa. Igbu mmadụ ekwezighị ihe ọbụla ọ bụ na obodo anyị, ịna mmadụ n'iyi ekwezighị ihe ọbụla ọ bụ. Nna anyị arịọ, nna anyị ime na-akpa nkata ọjọọ n'obodo anyị a, anyị arịọ gị ka ikpughere ha, ka igosi ha, ka igosi ụwa ndị ha bụ, ka igosi ụwa ndị ha bụ onye nwaanyị na Chineke. Onye ọbụla na-agba mbọ, ndị ọbụla na-akwafu ọbara na-ezighị ezi, onye nwaanyị na Chineke asị m gị ka ikpughee ndị a nke a, ka ndị ụwa wee matasị n'eziokwu na ọ bụ ndị dị otu a bụ ndị nọ na-agba mbọ ọjọọ a ịgbagide anyị. Arịọ m gị, Chineke pụrụ ime ihe niile, ka ịgọzie ala anyị bụ Biafra, ala nke jupụtara na mmanụ anwụ, ka ime ka nwere onwe anyị a bịa ọsịsọ karịa ka anyị tụrụ anya ya. O eze Chukwu okike adị ama, anyị arịọ gị Chineke ka ịgọzie ụmụ gị na arụ ike, gọzie ụmụ gị na ihe nweta, kpuchite ha ma chebe ha. Ọbụnadị ọnọdụ nke obere nke anyị ga-anọ n'ụbọchị nke taa na Dize Broadcast, arịọ m gị ka ịgosi ebere gị, mee ka anyị ọbụla nke anyị ga-ekwu ka ọ bụrụ ha ga-esi n'aha ya wee nye aha nsogbu ụtụtụ, ma mee ka Biafra wee bịa. Chineke nke bi n'eluigwe nke pụrụ ime ihe niile, bịa ka ị nọnyere anyị n'oge awa dị ka nke a, n'ime ihe niile ka ebulie aha nsogbu elu site ugbu a wee ruo mgbe niile ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise. Great Biafrans, I greet all of you. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending your time zone and where you are residing. Right here in Taiwan, it is a beautiful afternoon. It is exactly 14 minutes past 12 p.m., 14 minutes past noon here. The weather is bright here, and yes, very, very good weather. And I don't know how your weather is wherever you are. For those of you in Biafra land, I said good morning to you and welcome to this program. It is going to be another segment of cross-section of Asia National Coordinators coming to you live from Radio Biafra. Right here, I must introduce my name, but before I do that, I must tell us that our leader, our representative, the Asia representative, in the person of Mazi Oscar Okeke, is not available here today due to other engagements. He is currently handling. He will not be here. He will not be joining us today. And I will be coordinating on his behalf. I will be moderating this program on behalf of Mazi Oscar Okeke, the formidable Asian IPOB Asian representative. Before I also go on, I must thank our Hamadike One of Biafra land, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for waking us up from slumber, telling us the truth, and we are walking in that truth. Because in this truth we shall restore Biafra. In this truth shall Biafra be established. In this particular truth, we shall be liberated from any bondage that the zoo has put in us in. My name remains Mazi Charles Opanwan. By the grace of Chukwokika Charles Opanwan serves the indigenous people of Biafra in the capacity of Asian National Secretary and also the Taiwan National Coordinator. I hail from Item. Item is in Bende District, Umuahia Province, Biafra land. And here with me, I have my comrade that will be joining us today in this broadcast. He is no other person than Mazi Dennis Eze. Mazi Dennis Eze is here. I will hand Mazi Dennis Eze the microphone for him to introduce himself. Mazi Dennis, can you hear me? Please go ahead.
Loud and clear, Mazi. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you reside. I want to welcome you all to today's segment. By the special grace of God, my names are Mazi Dennis Eze, and I am the National Coordinator in Singapore. Please pay attention as we proceed and listen very carefully. Mazi, I hand you mic.
Thank you, Mazi Dennis Eze. Mazi Dennis Eze, as he rightly mentioned, he is our national coordinator in Singapore. As you all know, IPOB worldwide under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or Hamadike One of Biafra, we have families all over the world, more than 88 countries and counting. We are everywhere. You cannot just quench us. We are just like wildfire. You cannot stop us. We are unstoppable. And anybody that stood on our way in this restoration project must be crushed. Because this restoration project is ordained by Chukwokika and we are here to fulfill that mission. It is either Biafra or Biafra. Nothing is going to stop us from getting Biafra. Before I go on with the topic that we have to discuss today, as you can see, the zoo has crumbled. Before, people will say, oh, look at this, look at the way things are happening. Oh, things are getting so hard. Things are very hard in this country. The economy is failing, and the government is no longer in charge. Insecurity everywhere, instability, and all that. They were saying that before. And mind you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu prophesied this. And he said that Somalia, back then, Somalia was a war-torn country. Their economy is like zero. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made this prophecy, Nigeria was projected as one of the fastest growing, in fact, #1 fastest growing economy in the whole Africa. And it was also being projected that if they continue on the same line, they're going to overtake countries like Pakistan and India and all that. In view of that, when people was like hailing Nigeria and all that, saying things are going very well and stuff like that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made this prophecy. By the time we finish dealing with the zoo, Somalia will be better than Nigeria, unless they let the people of God go. Unless they allow to stay on their own, unless they allow us to enjoy the inheritance that the Almighty Chukwokika has given to us. Their failure to do that will bring damage to the economy. Their failure to do that will bring everything somersaulting, starting from the economy, the government, name it, whatever thing that you can think about. Example, let me start from the economy of the country. It has continued to put heads down, nose down. Yes, how much is dollar? Let me start it from there. Because if you are in there, you say, okay, it's just the same naira, it's just naira and all that. And that is not how you will measure the economy. That is not how you will measure the equivalent, the worth of the currency that you are using. If you don't know, let me tell you something. It might shock you. Somalia's currency is now much more preferred than your naira. The naira you have has turned to a piece of tissue. I mean, a piece of tissue might even be counted much more worth than naira. Yes, you heard me right. How much is $1 to naira now? It is about 740 something. Yes, 740 something, and before you know it, it will continue to go up to 800. 850, 900. Before you know it, it will hit 1,000. And it will continue that way. Nigeria, if you are among those that continue to pray every day and say, oh, God help Nigeria, God do this, God do that, you are praying a wrong prayer. And no matter how long you pray a wrong prayer, God will not give ear to that prayer because your prayer is wrong. The kind of prayer you are making is not acceptable in the sight of Chukwu Kikadiama. Some of you that are getting ready to go to church, those in Biafra land, I know some of you are getting ready to go to mass, some are getting ready to go to church, and today when you go to church, somebody will be praying. Pastors, the bishops, they will give you prayer topics for people to pray and ask God to help them with. If your pastor do mention pray for the country Nigeria, just tell your pastor he is making a wrong prayer point. And no matter how long you pray this wrong prayer point, nothing good will come out of it. Because this kind of prayer it doesn't cross the sky. It doesn't even cross the cloud. Talk less of getting to Chukwu that always give heed to our prayers. He said, ask, you shall find, seek, you will get, and knock, the door will be open. Not this kind of prayer, not when you pray about Nigeria. Just yesterday, the zoo, they celebrated what they call their 62 years independence. 62 years. 6-2, 1, 2, 3, and you keep counting. You keep going. 10, you keep going. 20, you keep going. 30. And you keep counting 40, you keep counting 50, you keep going 60, 62 years independence. And let me ask you a question. That 62 years independence, what can the country boast of with that 62 years of independence? After the colonial rule, they were jumping up and down. Oh yes, it is time for us to have independence. It is time for us to be on our own. We can rule ourselves. We can be on our own. We can do things on our own. We don't want anybody to lead us. We don't want anybody to rule us. But even up to today, Nigeria has remained the money market of the British government. They have remained the money market because the contraption, the so-called contraption called Nigeria, was made up, was concocted, brought together by the British government. For what? Because of their financial gain. They did not do this for you to prosper. The idea behind this, like when you are doing something, you have a motive. You have the reason why you are doing this. When you sweep your house, the motive behind the sweeping of your house was to keep your house clean. When you wash your plate, you want to keep it clean. When you go into business, your motive remains to make profit out of your business. In all our day-to-day engagements, whatever thing that we do have a motive behind that. We do have what we have at the back of our mind before embarking on such journey. But in the sense of the British allowing Nigeria to be independent or giving them independence, so to say, And by the way, it was a ceremonial independence, because nothing has shown that Nigeria has independence. Let me start with the road. Bad roads everywhere. Bad roads everywhere. You can hardly drive any vehicle up to 5 kilometers. I mean, 5 kilometers is too much. 1 kilometer without encountering potholes, without coming with bombs and all that. That is the reason why when you see cars in Nigeria, no matter how flashy they look, you will see that these cars have suffered a lot. The vehicle has suffered a lot because of bad road. Common road. Here that we live, where I live here in Taiwan, some roads, they seem good, much better than what you call your express road. And you will sleep. During the evening, you will see equipment coming. They will be parking it along the road and all that. By 8 p.m. per se, they will start work. And before you will wake up in the morning, say 7 or even 8 a.m., they have finished tying the road. They've completed the process of clipping off the old card and making a new one. This is what you call government. You get dividends from your government. This is what government should be like. I will also tell you that in the past 10 years here, I haven't experienced anything like power failure. I said 10 years, uninterrupted. The reason why I just used 10 years, it should have been as long as I have lived here. But I remember 2 or 3 occasions whereby that the government will do announcement that this particular zone or this particular city, their light will go off, their electric power will go off for 1 hour for maintenance, or the electric power will go off for 2 hours for maintenance. The longest that I have witnessed was 2 hours only for maintenance, and they will give you information, they will give you pre-notification about that, and you will have it at the back of your mind that on so date, on so time, they will take off, they will turn off the power and do what they call maintenance or something, and the power will come back. But there where you live in the zoo, I am talking about the zoo that is claiming to have had 16 years of independence. Hardly you will stay a day without the light, without the electric power going off. Hardly. I mean, 1 day only. And some people living in the zoo, they have not even had electric power for more than 6 months. What am I even talking? Some parts, I will say for 1 year, they have not even experienced, they don't know what it looks like for them to have stable electric power. That is why whenever those in charge, call it NEPA or whatever they might call the disc or whatever they might call themselves, whenever the electric power comes in, you see people jumping, clapping, up NEPA, this, that. Look at that stupidity. Look at the level that they have brought our people to. Something that you should be having 247, and they took it from you. Instead of you to protest, you don't have it for some time, and when they brought it back, you'll be jumping, rejoicing that you have gotten this thing back. Whereas it is your right. You should have this 247, and nobody is asking questions. Nobody is saying this. You see some Efulefu, they will be talking about Nnamdi Kanu, they will be criticizing and gossiping Ipob and all this and what have you. Now, where they should channel their anger, they miss the point. Where they should channel their anger. You miss where you should channel their anger. It's like where you've been given a gun and a bullet to shoot at your target. And instead of you to aim at your target and shoot at your target, you will now face that gun to someone that is giving you the direction on how to hold that gun firm, on how to stay focused, on how to position, aim, and hit your target. And this is what we do here in Radio Biafra whenever we come here. Because in this platform, we don't tell lies. In this platform, we don't hide anything. In this platform, we tell you the things the way it is. It doesn't matter other broadcasting stations where they will tell you, do this like this, do this like that, don't say this is your restriction, you should not cross over here, you shouldn't criticize the government, don't play any music that is not approved by this, don't do this and that and that and that, and the list continues unabated. But here in Radio Biafra, we are here with the gospel of truth. Just like our leader said, that he would destroy Nigeria, he would destroy the zoo with the truth, Ezioku. And he did that without firing any shot. He did that without firing any bullet. Just his computer and microphone, and he continued to broadcast all the way from London. He brought it down to Biafra land and continued to preach this gospel of liberation. And the zoo, they think that taking away, abducting our leader, renditioning him, will stop this gospel. No way. When they take one of us, many more will come, many more. You will see many more. Some people were afraid and all this, not knowing that one thing, one person by the side temporarily, you will see many more taking that particular position. I am telling you, in IPOB, we have people that are so fanatical about the restoration of Biafra, that they fear no man, that they fear no person. Either the mission is either you give us Biafra or we die here trying to get Biafra, because it is our right, and Biafra we must get. You see people rejoicing in their stupidity, celebrating, oh, up NEPA and all that. Do you even reason? Do you even think? How many homes have tap-borne water? I mean, how many homes currently that you will go to any house, building or what, and you see the government run tap-borne water? No. All people do this today, all they do was to degrade the environment, and this thing has continued. And if care is not taken, when the effects of all these digging boreholes here and there will start coming, our people will be like wondering, what is happening? Why are we having something strange in our land? Why is this thing happening? Oh, before, there's nothing like this, but now we are experiencing something like earthquake. Why is it before we don't have this and that? Why is it like today something like this and that is happening? Because the negative environmental effects of digging maybe boreholes, every yard has one. And I'm not blaming them, every yard has one. I'm not blaming them, because they should live with water. This is one of the things that they need. This is one of the basic human needs. You need good drinking water, you need good environment to live in, and you need food, and you need shelter. These are the basic things any human beings need. The basic thing any human being needs. But today, they are being denied from our people. Today, they are being denied from our own people. They are being denied even in the zoo, no place. You see people doing things by themselves. Today, these days, you will see some streets, they will contribute money with what they call cement technology. Because if they wait for their government to tar the road for them, it might take ages for that to happen. And they don't get all this. They ended up doing these things by themselves. Whereas it wasn't supposed to be like that. And you are channeling your anger to where you shouldn't channel your anger in. And you are there in your comfort zone, in your comfort room, criticizing IPOB, criticizing ESN, criticizing Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu for bringing the truth to you. Like I mentioned earlier, in Radio Biafra, we don't say anything except the truth. We come here, we give you the naked truth. Naked. When we say naked truth, people don't even understand it. You know, when you see somebody that walking on the road naked, what will you do? You turn back. You don't want to go and face that person. You call that person a mad man or a mad woman. You don't want to face such an individual. You say, look at this mad person. This person is high on something. This person is really, really crazy. Whereas you will pass a drug addict, well dressed, driving a very expensive, flashy car, and when he drove past you, you turn and admire the car and wish like you are like that particular man. Whereas in that secret of the truth, when the truth is being revealed, that particular person you are trying to emulate is not on the right track. So here in Radio Biafra, we come here and we give you the naked truth the way it is. There's this saying that says that the naked truth is always better than the best dressed lie. It doesn't matter how they coach their lies. It doesn't matter how they put it. They have the media to do that. They polish it. They bring it, they edit. No, remove this one. Put this one. I will do this. I will do this. And this is that time of the year when they come to you, trying to preach to you, telling you what they are going to do or what they will do, giving you empty promises. And you never ask yourself, how long shall we be getting these empty promises from these useless politicians? They come around every 4 years, they tell you the same thing. They come around every 4 years, they deceive you into believing that things will be better, into believing that they are going to give you good road, they are going to give you good table water, they are going to give you steady electricity. But all these never happened. Once he says, cheat me once, shame on you. Cheat me twice, shame on me. How many times will you be deceived before your eyes will be open to know that they have no good for you, to know that they have nothing for you? Yes, the topic we are discussing, number one topic, is the Nigerian 62 independence, a celebration of shame. If you are proudly Nigerian, raise your hand. Maybe they did not hear me. Proudly Nigerians, raise your hand. You see, nobody will be so proud to raise their hand to call themselves a Nigerian, because that country is a shame on its own. When somebody wants to tell you something bad, it's not like swearing on you or saying some words that are not good to say here. If anybody just tell you, may Nigeria happen to you, that is the worst thing, the worst cause, the worst kind of swearing anybody will say to you. When anybody say, may Nigeria happen to you, you will say, I forbid that, back to sender. Because you know that Nigeria, when Nigeria, let Nigeria happen to you means something very, very bad. It means no progress. It means stagnant. It means nosediving, your economy failing, your government not in charge, waste of life, spilling of innocent blood, and all that. Kidnapping even has become a trade now. Even government, they pay money. You will see, in fact, the Nigerian police will be the one to tell you, okay, since they say 20 million, arrange the money, give it to us, add our logistics, the transportation and all that. So you're going to bring 21 million. Could you imagine that? Kidnappers will kidnap someone, demanding maybe for 20 million. And the police, you went to the police to report this. Instead of them to swing into action and arrest the kidnappers or find ways to get them, they will say, okay, 20 million, and they will add their own logistics, so they will add their own money, telling you we need to buy fuel. Oh my God. We need to buy fuel to move this vehicle. And get ready the men that will go for this operation. We need to equip them, this and that, and by the time they finish their calculation, if you're not lucky, the 20 million will turn to 25 million. That is Nigeria for you. So what is there to celebrate? You see people waving their flag, green, white, green, shamefully, they wave the flag. In fact, I thank God for this generation. In my own time, when we were growing up, every 1st October, we will go to the stadium for what is called March Past. Every school will come, maybe at the local government or in the stadium, where they will do the March Past. And everywhere will be filled up. There will be a March Past, they will do the March Past, and by the end of that ceremony, they will announce the number one, the best schools that did the March Past, the best school for this, the best school for that. It used to be fun. I mean, those days. But today, Independence Day, which schools still go to do march past in the stadium? Which schools still gather? Even our children, even our kids, they are wise now. You don't see them on the street. Instead, you see them on the street protesting against the government, which is what they're supposed to do. And by the way, when you protest, do not be deceived. Because politicians will always be politicians. Don't say this one is better than this. It is not about the individual. It is not about the person at the helm. Maybe the person at the helm might have a good reason, a good project, saying, okay, we are going to do this, we are going to turn the country around and all this and all that. But not to our because the structure, the way Nigeria was structured, it is structured in a way that you cannot, nothing good will come out of it. It will continue to go down the drain. Nothing good will come out of it. That's the way the country is structured. Your 1999 constitution put it that way that there will be no progress. It's simple. It's like that. And no matter how anybody, I know people are now singing maybe for one Messiah or another, but let me tell you ahead of time, you will be disappointed, because when the person gets there, you will find out that this structure, it is not about him. One person cannot just come and veto for everything to change. There must be people under him. That's how government works, from the Senate, from the House of Representatives, and down to the House of Assembly, I mean, in the state level and all. These are people that make the law. They will make the law, and the person at the head will only sign it. If they continue making the bad ones and all that, and you refuse to sign, and it means the country will still be going from bad to worse, from worse to worse. It will never get better. If you're thinking that Nigeria will get better, is a lie. Is a lie. So what happened yesterday that the government was celebrating, it was a celebration of shame. If you partake in that kind of celebration, if you were among those that went out to do anything in celebration, to celebrate the Nigerian 62nd Independence Day, I say shame on you. You need to rethink. You have to think and check if you have something wrong with you, because I don't know what you are celebrating. When you celebrate, what does it mean to celebrate? The word celebration is something when you celebrate something, you rejoice over something. You are happy for something that has taken place. So you now rejoice and show your joy over something. What is that for you to show joy of? Mention one thing that can make you to rejoice in Nigeria. Tell me one thing that you are celebrating. By the way, you are talking about independence. Is Nigeria truly independent? That's another question. And the answer is no. Nigeria is still being run by the British. Yes, you heard me well. The British government, they are still running Nigeria. Any day they remove their hand from Nigeria, the economy will collapse. Do you know how many barrels of oil, the crude they're still taking on daily basis? Do you know how much they are milking? You think colonization is over? No. They are out from the picture, put their puppets there, and still run things by the, on the background. They're still running things on the background, if you don't know that. So what you have is like a ceremonial government, but your real government is in Downing Street in London, controlling what will happen, who will rule, who will not rule, who will go off, who will not die. And we have continued to give them pressure to take their hands off and let Biafrans be free. No wonder just last week you see the Britain denying, the British government denying, saying, oh, we don't have any hand in sponsoring instability. We are not part of this security, or we don't interfere in local politics. Oh, nah, she was a lie. And they continue with these their lies, and people are buying into it. So there's nothing like a 62nd celebration in Nigeria. It was a celebration of shame. And nobody celebrates shame unless you are mad, unless you have something wrong in your, right inside your brain, unless you have something wrong with you, for you to celebrate something that is shameful, something that you shouldn't mention out there. And you are there, look at our kids, our youths, They have been there, staying at home for more than a year in the name of strike. Oh, as you strike this, they will say, okay, gather. Okay, please take 50 million. They try to bribe them. They say, no, this is what we want. This is what we want. And they go back, they, okay, we'll increase the money. Do this. The government will tell you there's no money. We don't have money to pay lecturers. We don't have money to give you good education facilities, laboratories, and all that. There's no money in the coffin. But look at your president or whoever that is answering that name, Muhammad Buhari, went to the United Nations General Assembly with 100-men entourage. 100-men entourage, first in history. And if you're calculating on their expenses, none of this, I mean, the minimum for one person will be at least $20,000 to $50,000. When you times this, when you multiply this, okay, let's use at least 20-30 million for one person. Now you multiply it by hundreds. You see that it's going in billion. Maybe about 30 billion naira, they spend about 30 billion naira just for a few days program. The program of which all of those entourage, they are useless. Only one person is needed. That's the president representing the country. And you have 100 entourage. The money that you will use to give for the lecturers and to sort out all the problem, they don't want to do that. They don't care about you. They don't care about our youth. They don't even give a thing about what you're doing. If your kids are staying at home, if they have relegated a final year student of medicine to someone doing POS on the street, they don't care. If they have relegated a final year student of reading economy to head breading, call it head designer. Maybe you want to bring it to a certain level. He's a hair designer or makeup artist. And you see your kids staying on the street, rubbing someone's fingers with cutters and makeup, and what do you have? That's the level they have relegated our kids. And you're talking about 62nd independence celebration. What celebration? It is a celebration of shame. If I continue to mention all this, time will fail me. And I have my colleague, me, in the person of Mazi Dennis Eze, our national coordinator in Singapore. I am going to hand him over the microphone for him to also say something, give his own view about this Nigerian 62 independence, which we term a celebration of shame. Mazi Dennis, I don't know if you can hear me, but before I do that, let me still welcome our listeners. If you are joining us right now, this is a cross-section of Asia National Coordinators, and I have here with me Mazi Dennis Eze, which happens to be our coordinator in Singapore, and my very self, Mazi Charles Opangwa, standing on behalf of Mazi Oscar Okeke, who's not here today due to other engagements. Mazi Dennis Eze, if you can hear me, Mazi, you have the microphone to proceed.
Mazi, thank you very much. I can hear you loud and clear. You have done very, very well. You have spoken very well. In fact, you have said it all. But I also like to chip in my own little contribution. But first of all, let me reintroduce myself. My names are Mazi Dennis Eze. I hail from Oshishoma, Aba province in Biafra land. By the special grace of God, I am a servant of the indigenous people of Biafra here in Singapore. We bring you all greetings to all lovers of freedom and people of goodwill. Coming to this topic today, I mean, is appalling that people, few of them, of course, I watch some programs, the event place where they claim to celebrate yesterday. Of course, it was very empty. The events were very empty. Some places that I saw, it's very empty. And those who participated, I can say that they are they just showcased their stupendous ignorance. Why did I say so? Of course, there is nothing to smile in Nigeria. I mean, there is nothing to smile. There is nothing to celebrate, you know. And what are you celebrating? You are celebrating lack of quality education, lack of security, proper security, lack of jobs. You are celebrating poor health. You are celebrating, I mean, so many things, bad things that is happening. There is nothing like you can be happy to say, this is why I'm celebrating. The country is moving forward. I mean, it's something that nobody will be happy to celebrate, you know. And for them, Nigeria, first of all, is undeveloped. And as the leaders, if you really want to overcome the challenges of development, then you can say that, I can say that no nation will overcome the challenges of development without them providing its ability to be creative and innovative, you know. And of course, Nigeria it's not an exception. But the leaders, the Nigerian leaders, appear to have a fixed mindset. They have a fixed mindset, which makes the nation is choking. The nation is choking on its democratic experiment because the leaders do not even operate on principles that align with democracy. And the worst, still, the system is colored by unbridled corruption, non-functional health care, poor educational system, poor infrastructure. You know, there is forces that result. These forces are the things that resulted to weak economy and rising up youth, empowerment, unemployment, poverty, as well as insecurity in the society. The leaders do not seem to understand that empowering the people will change the future. It will change the future of the society. So there is nothing anyone can, you know, like be happy to say, I am a Nigerian, I am celebrating this particular achievement. No. Unlike my fellow comrades, he made mention of one having a steady running water. In Nigeria, if we are not capable of having or owning a borehole, which you need to have in your own house, like if you don't have money, because it costs a few 100,000 plus. So if you are not rich or have money up to that, in order to get that borehole, you will struggle to get common water. I mean, water to drink or even to shower, because you don't have it in your home. You will struggle to get it. That is where you will see the citizens who will be going out to look for where they will fetch water. What am I talking about? Is it about health facility? Do we even have? What about life? And my fellow comrades said, it is in Nigeria you will see children, both adults, men and female, women. They will bring light. You will see them. They will jump in up NEPA. Immediately within question of 10 minutes, they will take it again. Then you see everybody become so sad. They become sad. Some of them will hiss. Some of them will start saying, if God will punish you, God will do this, God will do that. All these things is what we experience in Nigeria, which is the reason why the country should not even exist, because the leaders fail to provide the basic facility, the basic amenity that the youth, the masses need in order to help their lives. Things that can make them live long, things that can help them, both physical, mentally, and otherwise. If they are lacking all those things, so tell me, what will be your joy? What would be your joy to say Nigeria is turning 60, 62? What would be your joy to celebrate? What are you celebrating? So it doesn't want it. It doesn't want it. Even from the foregoing, there is nothing anybody can be happy about Nigeria. Nigeria is still continuing battling the war security that amid political instability in Nigeria. You can imagine, with an estimated population of over 220 million people, the country is still ravaged by insurgency. It is not only worrisome that, you know, Nigeria is most of the country that is unsafe place to stay because of the insecurity. Because of insecurity, every day, if you are not being harassed by police, you'll be harassed by the soldiers, you'll be harassed by the herdsmen, you'll be harassed by Boko Haram. So tell me, what are you celebrating? You will be there in Nigeria, you'll be praying for God to protect you from kidnappers, protect you from police brutality, from soldiers harassment, brutality, everything that is disorganized. What are you celebrating? What are you happy about? Is that not stupidity? Tell me, what can you be proud to say? I am in Nigeria. I am proud to have such thing. Apart from those politicians, those that are embezzling your money, those that are embezzling money, stealing the money from the masses, those things that they're supposed to do for you, they don't do them. All their children are in abroad studying. Up to your own children, they are at home. What about us to strike? What about us to strike? So all these things are what disqualified Nigeria as a country. So where do we even start? Where do we even start? Even as the election is coming now. You see that Nigeria is a failed state. Nigeria is totally a failed state. Even as the election is drawing near, you will see there is a probability of organized conflict. There is a probability of organized conflict, political terror, violent demonstration, and violent crimes happening in Nigeria, even yet to come. This is the things that the citizens need to rethink, ask questions. How long can we continue in this kind of abject poverty in Nigeria? How long do we still hope on these people that gave us hopeless? How long will you continue to be voting for them, and they will continue to reap you? They continue to take what they're supposed to use to better your own life and your family, your children, and give you a safe place to stay. The most important, a safe place to stay. A safe place to stay, whereby you don't go out. When you go out, you are not afraid of anyone, any stray bullets coming from all angles, from anywhere. That is exactly what you need to be asking yourself. For how long? At the age of 62, yet the country is going backwards. Nothing has been fixed. Nothing has been done. Of course, our leader Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, told them, if they refuse to allow Biafrans to go, that Nigeria is just a word. He spoke. He said it, that Nigeria will be better. Somalia will be better than Nigeria if they refuse to allow Biafrans to go. It is happening. Look at the economy. Look at it. Their economic system is total. Is poor. Look at the dollar. The dollar now, I think by yesterday, is approximately 740. If it's not 750 now, you can imagine what kind of country can survive with such a thing. What kind of country will survive with such a thing? It's very, very shameful. It's very shameful that people will be clamoring for one Nigeria, jumping up and down, that they are celebrating independent. Independent, my food. Independent of non-payment. Independent of insecurity. Independent of bad roads. Independent of lack of quality education. Independent of poor management. Because Nigeria as a country lack poor management. They lack management. They don't know how to manage anything. So, what are you celebrating for? You are celebrating it's very shameful. It's very shameful. So I don't see Nigeria as a country going forward, because these people, I can say that they lack the vision. They lack the vision. Not that they don't know what to do, but they are very wicked by nature. By nature, they are very wicked. In fact, they are not even thinking well about you. If you want to die, you can die. It's not our business. I only need the power. I only need the power to control you. That is the only thing they believe in. So whether you are eating, whether you're not eating, it's none of their business. It's not like every other country that, at least, number one, they care for their citizens. Those people who put them in that seat, those people who voted for them, they will ask them what they want. The people will say, this is what we want. They will implement it. They will give them the good life. The environment very clean. They will better their life. Whatsoever it will take them to make their citizens happy, they will do them. But in Nigeria, if you are happy, you are not happy, it doesn't concern them. It doesn't. In fact, it doesn't affect them. Neither affect their political ambition. But my question is, for how long? For how long, Nigerians, will you continue in such, living in this kind of, at this 21st century, living in that kind of environment? For how long? We need to think. We need to think. So the best thing that Nigeria as a country is to separate. Because once Nigeria separates, then everybody will work hard in order to better their territory. Then you will see that insecurity will go. Poverty will go. Lack of job will go. Because you can tell me that over 220 million people, there is no sufficient job. After you finish your school, you cannot get a job which you can at least manage. So it's very disheartening to see that people celebrating 62 at nothing. 62 at nothing. Nothing is working. Every management there is zero. The way they run it, even the health center, anywhere, everything there is zero, total zero. From the airport. From the airport. You will, even what is happening in the airport, you will marvel. You will say, what kind of, where do these people come from? What kind of thing is this? From the airport, you will notice that the system is totally down. The system is totally awkward. It's very shameful. Honestly, it's very, very shameful that Nigeria, that claim to be a giant of Africa, but is giant of nothing. It's very, very shameful. I mean, from the airport, you will notice that the system is totally awkward. Nothing is going there. Unemployment and political uncertainty, as well as the insecurity of lives and the properties, have been identified as some of the compelling factors for mass exodus of education and skill. So the youth need to think. The youth need to think. The youth need to organize themselves, ask questions, know what they really want. Of course, we Biafrans, we are only interested in our Biafra. That is where our hope is, and that is what we ask for. Because at 62, our forefathers, our parents, they started suffering from the one until 62. Most of them are not even alive till today. And yet, even common Ghana is more secure than Nigeria. Common Ghana has steady electricity than Nigeria. Is that not a shame? Is that not shameful? It's a big shame to such acclaimed giant of Africa. Mazi, I will hand you over to microphone while I stand by for more topics to discuss.
Thank you so much, Mazi Dennis Eze, for that wonderful explanation, breakdown to some people that really understand that there was nothing to celebrate for the Nigerian 62nd Independence Day. For us here, we call it a celebration of shame. And anyone that participated in that celebration should be ashamed of his or herself. For those of you joining us, this is still Radio Biafra. We have here the cross session of IPOB Asia National Coordinators. I am standing in for Mazi Oscar Okeke, who happens to be Asia representative of the indigenous people of Biafra, Asia. And my very self, I am Mazi Charles Opangwa, the Secretary of Asia National Coordinators Forum. And here with me, we just had our brother Mazi Dennis Eze telling us that Nigeria's 62nd independence was a celebration of shame, and there is nothing to celebrate about that. He made one striking point about your so-called leaders leaving our youths to be at home, to stay at home, whereas their own kids, their own family, they do send them abroad for their education. They do send them abroad for their studies. That means giving them a higher opportunity to continue to rule and subjugate you where their father stopped. Because if you have good education, good exposure, you have at least an edge over someone that do not even attend to the basic ones. So they continue to provide these opportunities for their works. But for the others, they don't care. They don't care. They do not care. Let me repeat, they don't care about you. Nobody cares about you. So it is time for you to continue to channel your anger. Channel your anger against the government. Channel your anger against your governor. Channel your anger against those politicians, the so-called elites representing you in one political position or the other, and not uselessly targeting IPOB or criticizing IPOB. At least you should be happy that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu opened our eyes, and today we are bringing you the gospel of truth. We are saying it the way it is, without fear or favor, because all we are asking for is Biafra. And self-agitation, I mean in international law, self-agitation has its own place. Nobody can stop you from agitating. Nobody can stop you from saying, I don't want to be in this union. I want to be in the other union. I want to be on my own, something like that. And that is why what we are preaching. And that is why we are here to bring you the gospel so that you will listen to it and get yourself ready for what is about to come and what has come. Because if you do not know all this, maybe you will be fighting the wrong battle. You should know who your enemy is and also fight that your enemy. Without fighting your brother who's doing all that he could to save you from the enemy. Because jointly, if we come together and face this, our common enemy, face these politicians, face this government, understand that everything that they have been telling us are lies and nothing but lies. And this their deception mode, we should turn it off and say enough is enough for this their deception titles and all that. Now we are going on to the second topic. Remember, the first topic was the Nigerian 62nd independence, a celebration of shame, which you, our listener, I know you agree with us. Yes, you know the truth, and only the truth shall set you free. You know that the celebration, there's nothing to celebrate, and anything that they tried to do that in form of celebration was a shameful act. It was a celebration of shame. The number two topic that we have here to discuss is about the upcoming case of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The case will be coming up in Umuahia Federal High Court on the 4th of October 2022, the upcoming court case in Umuahia. And let me explain this more so that our listeners will understand this. You might have a question like, oh, you thought that the Umuahia case is over, that Kanu won, and the court asked the government to pay him compensation and all that. Yes, that's absolutely true. But there's another aspect of that case, and we want to discuss that particular case. Remember, the Abia State High Court, they decided a portion of the case that was filed by the Special Counsel of IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the person of Barrister Aloy Ejimako and his team. When he approached Abia State High Court to decide what really transpired in September 2017, between 14th and the 17th September 2017, when the military came to kill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which resulted to the death of at least 28 people, even including an innocent dog that did nothing. 28 human beings, their life wasted. Some people today, they are still suffering from the bullet wounds. And they are lucky to be alive per se, because the 28 others that died, and some people also are still suffering from the kind of inhuman treatment they got from the Nigerian security agencies. Like those coming from Aba that was stopped somewhere around Umuahia, forced to go into the mud water, roll them, they were asked to roll around there, and also forced to drink the mud dirty water. Some of them are still suffering up to today. We don't know about this, but we are here to bring you the truth. That was some of the things that our barrister Aloy Ejimako approached at the State High Court to establish the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. It's only a tree that will stand still when he sees people coming with a cutter or any machine to bring that tree down. The tree will stand still, because the way they are made, they can move from place to place. But for human beings, including Yahweh Heshia, when you hear that, oh, you are going to be killed, you will run for your dear life. And that was what happened in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu while he left Umuahia. In fact, he was ready to go to the court in a few weeks. That should be in October, sometime 2017. But on the 14th, the military got stuck in his place. And their aim was to terminate the life of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If the Nigerian government, if they are honest, they should have allowed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to appear in court. By the way, he was enjoying his bail. He was on bail then. He was on bail, enjoying his bail, his right, and the military came all the way from wherever they come from with armored vehicles as if they are going to war. I mean, the kind of equipment they arrived there with, you can hardly see them using such kind of show of force in Sambisa forest, where they have the Boko Haram having killed the ISWAP and also the bandits in the Kaduna forest and all that. No, but they stormed the house of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, his country home in Umuahia. Destroyed not only the damages, some of the damages are still visible there. If you go there, you will still experience it. They burned the car in the way, the fire, the bullets. I mean, the bullets mark, you can see some of the bullets mark. And they killed people. Not only that, the Mazi, our barrister lawyer Ejimako, tried to establish that this was the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu left his place, to save his life first. But you must be alive for you to stand for judgment. If you're not alive, how are you going to stand for judgment? And every accused, everybody, no matter the crime you committed, you're being presumed, you are presumed to be innocent until a court of law proves otherwise. And as far as we know, go and check it everywhere, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime, none in law, internationally, and also even here in the zoo. Go and check, no record of that. He has no criminal record. No court has proven him to be a terrorist, although they rally around quickly and say and tag IPOB, prescribe them and all that. And in fact, they continue to bribe the Western world to follow their pattern in the prescription. But they look at it and say, no, we have found nothing wrong with these people. Just like the people that wanted to persecute Yahweh when they brought him to Pontius Pilate. He looked at him, he examined him, he said, but I have found nothing wrong against this man. In fact, the Western world, they said they have found nothing wrong with IPOB. What they are doing is enshrined in the Constitution, is enshrined in the human rights of which Nigeria is a signatory to it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime and he wanted to take out his life. So our barrister Aloy Ejimako won in that case, the Abia State High Court. But the case, the Abia State High Court declined in handling some portion of the suit. They said, oh, the case of rendition, it is not in our jurisdiction to handle the case about the jurisdiction of, the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the torture he underwent in Kenya and all that. We cannot handle that. We are only the state high court. Our barrister swam into action and went to the federal high court on here, because only a federal high court can handle such case of that level. I am just painting this picture for some of you that are confused. How come we are going to Umuahia for another case? How come our leader will be represented, his case will be coming up in Umuahia again? What happened to the first one? So we are here to educate you. We are here to tell you the truth. We are here to make you understand the way it is. So our barrister approached the Federal High Court here, and the come of fourth today is 2nd, and on Tuesday will be the 4th of October. Although our leader Mazi Kanu will not be appearing in court in person, but his case will be called up, and the judges there will be looking into the case. IPOBA, through our barrister, we are asking for 8 basic things that surrounds this arrest. And I want you to pay close attention. If you have your paper, you can get it close and jot it down why we are approaching the court and what IPOB, what they are pressing for, what they are asking for, so that you don't just take anything goes news. You know, people can come on YouTube, give you any headline. Oh, Nnamdi Kanu in court in Umuahia, ask for this and that. You know, they just give you such headline to attract you to go to their YouTube channel because they are making money out of that. They want to drive you. In fact, they will give you a bogus headline of which when you click into it, go into it in details, you will find out that what's the connection between the headline and what this person is actually saying. Here in Radio Biafra, we're not into deception. When we come here, we tell you things the way it is. We break it down, even for a layman in the village, because we know that our coverage is everywhere in Biafra land, from Akwa Ibom, Aba, Item, Enugu, all over Biafra land, even in Delta, parts of Delta, Asaba, Isobo, and all that. All those areas, Radio Biafra, you tune it on 102.1 FM, and you'll be getting it live and direct. Now we want our people, including those in the village, those in the rural area, to understand why we approach the court and why the case will be coming up on the 4th of October 2022. First of all, our barrister is asking the court that the arrest of Mazi Kanu, this is number 1 in Kenya. He's talking about the arrest of Kanu in Kenya and his disappearance for 8 days. Maybe some of you did not know that the Nigerian government traveled all the way from Abuja to Nairobi. This is another country, not in your country. It is not under your jurisdiction. This country have their own law system, they have their own president and everything. You travel from your own country to another country to commit a crime. You arrested somebody in another person's country, and that person was disappeared for 8 days. And he is asking for the court, how come a country can commit this kind of crime? The arrest of Mazi Kanu. On the 19th of June 2021, Nigeria committed this crime against international standard. No matter where you talk about it, it is a crime to leave your territory, to go to another man's territory, to do something without their own approval. And not only you ended up kidnapping this person, because it is not just an arrest. You abduct this person, you kidnap this person, and you kidnap this person, you torture, you keep this person under torture, you torture this person, and the unlawful detention, you detain this person of unlawfully. And who is the person we are talking about? It is the leader of over 70 million Biafrans worldwide, Mazi Kanu. And you even deny him a right to fair hearing. That's number 1. Number 1, arrest of Kanu in Kenya and his disappearance for 8 days. Number 2 is the detention of Mazi Kanu in an unofficial secret facility. Within these 8 days, within that 8 days that they took Mazi Kanu, between 19th to 26th, 27th, they kept Mazi Kanu in a secret facility, and it's unofficial. Maybe the Kenya government, like they said, they don't know about this. So how can you detain person in an unofficial facility in another country and subject that person under torture? I can't even imagine the kind of torture our leader Mazi Kanu underwent in Kenya. He was blindfolded they electrocute him, they beat him, they sprint on him, they march on him, they pour water on him, and tied his back down and blindfolded legs and all that. If he feel like easing himself, I guess he does it right there. For 8 days, he underwent this kind of torture. And because this man has a mandate from Chukwokika Diama, that is why they were not able to kill him. The plan was to eliminate him. And they think that within these 8 days, they will achieve that. But as the days passes, they understand that people has gotten to know about this. It seems that people are now talking, murmuring about this or like that. Let us quickly, they arrange. They bring a private jet and all that, and even those that participated on the rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the names are there. They're not people very far. Go and check the records. The rendition Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Abuja. So first arrest of Kanu in Kenya and his disappearance for 8 days. Within that disappearance for 8 days, his detention in a non-official secret facility in Kenya, and the torture he underwent. Number 3, the rendition. As we all know, rendition is an international crime. It's an international crime. The extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an international crime against humanity. You cannot do that no matter what. Go and check the records. Even during the time of apartheid in South Africa, the apartheid regime, they tried to do that and was denied. The US, you will see them fighting to extradite, get somebody from one country or the other. You see another country. Let me just bring it home and use an example with what just happened recently. Do you know that DCP, this super, they call him super cop, that is actually a super con, a 4-star that claimed to be deputy superintendent of police in the person of Alba Kiari. Mark that word, Alba Kiari. Take note of the name. The name alone will tell you the part or the section of the country where this person comes from. Now, the United States, in all their power, upon all their might, they don't showcase. Do you think it will be difficult for US to storm Nigeria and just say, give us al-Bakari, or target al-Bakari wherever he is, land there and just take him to US? They have the capability to do so. I mean, they can do it at ease, and Nigeria will not say, pim, pim, they're not going to say. But US, they applied for his extradition. They say, oh, we want this person, we want him extradited to the United States of America for so case and all that. But you see your country, you see your Minister of Justice, Malami, trying to protect the person. The name Malami also tells you, Abaka Malami tells you, Anabakari. You know that this name sounds similar there from a particular section of the contraction called Nigeria, the zoo. They're from a particular section. So you see one protecting his own. No, I won't let it, using every kind of tactics, finding another case against this criminal police officer, Abakari, holding him, and using one delay tactics, the other, against the application made by United States of America. But they forgot in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they did not apply to the Kenyan government. In fact, during the case in Kenya, the government established that from their records, they have the stamp, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into Kenya. And he was supposed to still be in Kenya. But where is he? How come? How did he arrive in Abuja? Why is he in Abuja? Person that entered here legally. How come he disappeared illegally? And you will find that Nigeria committed that crime. They committed that crime by forcefully kidnapping somebody in another person's soil. That's what I was telling us about Malani trying to protect al-Bakari. Few days ago, I read from one of the national daily, including Eastern Pilot. and Icon News. It was there. They mentioned about in the news, you will see that Attorney General, they lost the case. They lost the case of trying to extradite one, what's that guy's name? Andrew Chidebere Ibe. Now, underline the name again, Andrew Chidebere Ibe. I am not in support of any kind of crime. It was recorded that Mazi, Mr. Andrew Chidebere Ibe committed fraud in the USA. He is now in Nigeria. And you see, your Attorney General, he was so fast. He wanted to extradite this particular person. Maybe because of the name, he is answering. Maybe because of the section of the country, he is answering. Or should it be that he is doing his work rightly? If that is the case, why haven't he worked out the process to extradite Abakari? Are you listening? This is to show you that we are not the same with these people. There is nothing like one Nigeria. That is why they continue to preach, they continue to mention it every day. You hear it like one Nigeria, keeping one Nigeria, keeping Nigeria one, Nigeria is one Nigeria and one, and they say it repeatedly. The reason they continue to say this repeatedly is nothing else, rather for it to enter into your brain. They continue to do this repeatedly to program your brain and your mind. So you begin to think of a truth. Nigeria is actually one. But there is nothing in one Nigeria. There is nothing that shows that Nigeria is one. Go to the heads. Who are those leading in the army and the navy, police, and all that? You check custom, whatever. It will tell you. In fact, the names alone will prove to you that Nigeria is not one. You will find out that a section of the soul contraction has been relegated to a certain area, to a certain level, and we are not even crying. All we are asking for, no problem, you have relegated us to this. Allow us to be on our own. Is it a crime for someone, you have rejected this person, and this person wants to be on his own, and you also refuse? You are not going to be on your own, and you are denying that person every right that the person needed. I don't know if you are getting me. It is high time that our people will begin to think and reason as human. That is why God gave us this brain. For you to think, you sit down, you think and reason about this. Why is Nnamdi so hasty in trying to extradite Mr. Andrew Chidebere Ibe? Why is he so slow? And why is he protecting, since he's protecting Abakari from sending him to the US to go and stand the law? If Abakari thinks that he did not commit any crime, his hands are clean, what stops him from saying, I am ready to face the law, I am ready to face any judgment? They try to protect their own. Now back to the whole thing. You see, they know what extradition means. They know what it means to extradite one person from one country, to extradite a person from one country to the other. Not that Nigeria is novice about this particular process. They know about this particular process. They understand the way to go about this particular process. But in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the leader of over 70 million Biafrans worldwide, in his own case, they choose to use the Gestapo time, arriving in a country like we are math, we can do whatever thing we do, and we carry this. Even sometimes I do sit down and say, is Kenya actually a country? That country should be, I mean, their sovereignty was abused. Somebody entered into your territory, did what he wants, and moved. He did not even stand up to say, why did you do that? Why should you take somebody in my territory? Just like when we were small, if we did something wrong, our parents or uncle or our senior siblings trying to hit us, we will run and run. And if we see any elderly person, we will run to that person, hold that person and say, that means I am now in your hands, I submit to you. And the person will say, what has he done? Why are you pursuing him? And the person who will speak forth, ask questions, at least find out, is it what I should hand him? Should I hand this kid over to the parents or the uncle or whoever, or should I protect this kid? Kenya, they failed to do that. In fact, Nigeria failed to go through the process for Kenya even to do that. But they just come and grab our leader from Kenya, Nairobi, back to Abuja without the due process. Can you now see the hypocrisy of the Attorney General? Can you now see why the Attorney General should be made to resign? He should resign. You swear under oath that you will uphold the Constitution, you will be fair. But you fail to do that. You try to have a special law for people from a particular part of the contraption, and you have another law. You're playing double standard. And the person in that level, if it is in a country where people understand what law is all about, I mean, Malani should be bowing down. I mean, he should bow out honorably and said, sorry, I did this. I resign from this position. I shouldn't have gone to Kenya. I shouldn't have taken this, because he was the one that first called a press conference when they brought Mazi Nnamdi back to the zoo. I think on the 28th, was it 28th June 2021 or 27, thereabout. He was the one that addressed, it was like breaking news. He was so proud of it, facing camera, lying, claiming that you have done this, thinking that everybody will start clapping for him. Not knowing that the world that we live now, there's a process, there are things you cannot do. Even you have the power to do it. Example, some countries, they have the nuclear head and all that. They cannot just release it for people to die because they have nuclear weapons and all that. That you have AK-47 or you have double barrel at home does not mean you just come out and shoot anybody. It is against the law. I mean, you have the resources per se. You don't have the resources to give to ASU. That is still on strike. You don't have the resources to do that. You don't have the resources to build basic amenities for communities. You don't have resources for that. But you spend billions of dollars. At least it costs Nigeria $1 billion to achieve this. They use their NIA, Nigerian Intelligence Agency. Actually, it was Nigerian Intelligence Agency that went on this mission, bringing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, kidnapping him, rendition him to Abuja before handing him over to the DSS. DSS will tell you that. They will deny. They will say, oh, we don't know about this. All we are doing is keeping him in our custody and all that. So this kind of double standard must stop. This kind of double standard is what we are saying. No, it is the reason why, one of the reasons why we are fighting for us to be free, why we are calling for the sovereign state of Biafra, why we are saying that we want to be free, we want to be on our own. We don't want to be continue to be treated as a second class, even third or even fifth class citizen in a country where it was supposed to be one, where we are supposed to be part of. So taking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there without due process followed. No due process was followed. That was a crime. And that's one of the reasons our barrister applied in the Federal High Court, because Abia State High Court said it is not in their jurisdiction to handle this particular case. Now let me go to number 4. Now, taking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out of Kenya, one thing we should understand, it is illegal. Mark that one. It is illegal. And it is unlawful. Number 2, it is unlawful. You cannot just do that. When something is unlawful, that means it's a crime. It is against the law. It's unlawful. And it is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Your constitution is against it. And even for Malami to have be part of, to have of that process means that he lied under the oath because he swore to protect the Constitution, to work under the Constitution. But he performed an act which is unconstitutional. That's number 3. Number 4, that is an infringement of the human right of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's an infringement to his right. You cannot just come and do somebody anything you want to do to him extrajudiciary. It is you infringe on his human right. Now let me go to number 5. Number 5. Our barrister, we are also asking for the injunction of the current case, even the one in Abuja. We're asking for the injunction because you cannot benefit from your crime. I don't know if you are listening. Nigeria committed a crime. You already committed a crime. You cannot benefit from your crime. You cannot continue the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Notwithstanding that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has always said it. He said he's ready for fair trial. He's not afraid because he knows that he has committed no crime. But for you to have done this in illegal way, for you to have gone and abduct him, the process of renditioning him, and that you have committed a crime. And with that court shouldn't continue. That is what we're asking from Federal High Court, Umuahia. The court in Abuja, the process shouldn't continue because Nigeria, they're not supposed to benefit from their crime. You committed a crime and you want to benefit from that crime. 2 wrongs cannot make a right. We are asking for no further action. Okay, now let me move to number 6. Number 6, we are asking the court that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be restored to the status quo. Period to June 19, 2021. If you know where he was, how you brought him back here, I beg you. What we are asking, Kukuma, take him back there. Let us go and carry him from there. Yes, that's what we're asking. If you know how the status quo before 19th of June 2021, when he was in Nairobi, we want you to restore that. If you cannot do that, at least send him back to his country. Send him back to UK. Or if you don't want to do that, you think that one is expensive for you. Or you have connection, you want to do it the backyard way, the way you did. Okay, no problem. Just do your abracadabra the way you want to do it and send him back to wherever you pick him from before on June 19th so that we can have him back. Because we cannot fold our hands. If anything there happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that in fact, nothing is happening for now. I mean, yes, if anything there happened to the leader of over 70 million people, that's when you will see the madness of Biafrans across the world. Because you cannot afford to lose him. Those politicians that think they are unstoppable, what will you run to? Any country that you will escape to or you will hide your family, we are there, we have people there. So you can run, but you cannot hide. And for you to avert what is or what will happen should anything happen to Mazi Nnamdi, it is better for you people to just release him and let him go. Number 7, we are asking that the Amalani Attorney General and the federal government of Zoological Republic of Nigeria should write a letter of apology to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, saying I'm sorry. When you did something wrong, what should you do? You should apologize. I am sorry, please forgive me. I did this against you. This and that. They should write a letter of apology to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, not only writing that letter of apology to him. It should be in publication in at least 3 national dailies. They will choose the one. You know, they have the ones they used to lie a lot. They know the ones they used to lie. That is why when somebody come and say something and put some newspapers, example, Nation or whatever, I don't even want to listen to their propaganda machine and so on, or Chicano and all those of them. You know, they should choose. I know they have their machines there. They should choose which one among their propaganda machine, among their national dailies. Choose 3 and publicize it there. It should be on publication in any of the three. And finally, they should pay Mazi Nnamdi Kanu 25 billion naira. This thing doesn't, in fact, weighing it with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has suffered, weighing it with the torture, weighing it with the unlawful detention, weighing it with the denial of his right to fair hearing and all that, it means absolutely nothing. That is the reason why we'll be heading to court on the 4th of October, being Tuesday, 2022, when the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, will be coming up in Umuahia, in Federal High Court, Umuahia. And we wish that all these points will be granted, as our lawyer have put in it forth there, that these points shall be granted to us. By the way, before UK was like, we don't want to look into this, they were pretending they don't know what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, their own court have established it and ruled in an appeal that yes, this request should be granted. So that one granted. In Kenya, it has been established that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was forcefully removed from their territory. That one granted. And we are hoping that the Federal High Court in Umuahia come Tuesday, the 4th of October, 2022, will be there to do the rightful, because the judiciary is the whole of the common man, and we want the judiciary to close their eyes, to be the incorruptible judge, not looking at the side of the government or anywhere, to give ruling based on facts, based on things that we have put down, based on the crime that the Nigerian government have committed, and grant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu all the requests being made through our lawyer, Mazi, Barrister Aloy Ejimako. And what we are asking is not something too difficult. I call on Biafrans, wherever you are, to continue to remember Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your prayers, especially on the 4th of October. On the 4th of October. In fact, that day happens to be our atonement also. Yes. So, you know, now, Obakwana, you use that opportunity as well to pray that we will get a favorable judgment from the zoo court, because we are following the due process first. We want to follow all this process, making sure, not when we begin to show our madness, people will say, did you approach the court? Did you do this? Why don't you do this? So that the world at large, the United Nations, they will see that we follow the due process, and the zoo, being zoo, they refuse to harden to sense of reasoning. Even the United Nations opinion from their rapporteurs have put in it there that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally, because no one benefits from the crime they committed. Hence, Nigeria has committed a crime. They should let this man go. They should release him unconditionally. And the failure to do that might attract the wrath of Biafrans all over the world. I am going to take a little bit, pause a little bit to go to my colleague here, Mazi Dennis Eze. For those of you joining us not a while ago, this is still the cross-section of Asia. Yeah, my name remains Mazi Chaswapangwa. I'm standing in for our Asia rep, Mazi Osko Keke, who had other engagements and he couldn't make it here. Mazi Dennis Okeke, Mazi Dennis Eze, I don't know if you are hearing me. I will pass the microphone to you for you to do this judgment, to this second topic about the forthcoming case bordering on the rendition of our leader and his disappearance from Nairobi back to Abuja. Mazi, you have the microphone. Please go ahead, if you can hear me.
Mazi, thank you. Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. In fact, to be honest, you have given all the analysis and explanation. So I believe that all our listeners, they have heard what you said. And as a matter of, like to add to what you have just said, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is a prisoner of conscience, and he committed no crime. But The only crime that they think he committed was just conversing for peaceful determination, which is not a crime, you know. So UN also said that the people can agitate for self-determination. So it's never a crime. So I call on the Nigerian judiciary and also, of course, the Nigerian president to, as a matter of urgent, release Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, because he has committed no crime. Somebody fighting for his freedom and the freedom, somebody fighting for the freedom of his people is never a crime anywhere in the world, and should be released unconditionally. Nnamdi Kanu does not join. He did not jump there. Of course, when somebody comes to kill you, you make a move. It is only a tree whom heard that they are going to cut the tree, and the tree will still stand there. Even an animal, when an animal sees a human being who comes directly towards them with a stick or anything, the animal will run away. The animal will run away. How much more a human being? So Nnamdi Kanu is also a human being, and his own life is also very important. So they came to his house. They shoot aside anything they saw there. They seized there. They shoot many people. They killed many young men there, both including his dog. So tell me, who else would it make a move? So they are the one who is looking for the problem. They are the one who committed a very big offense to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by destroying his home, killing of innocent people who were in his house, in his hometown every day. So they have a lot to pay him. They have a lot to apologize to him. In fact, they are the one who have committed atrocity against the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. So all these allegations they are giving to him is because they have run out of, they don't know else what to say. But I believe that the judiciary will do the needful thing. They will stand on that truth which they represent. And our leader must be released unconditionally. And we also pray and hope that God will perfect his health. Mazi, I think because you have already analyzed everything, so I will pause here while we go further for other topic we need to discuss. Thank you.
Ndewo Mazi Dennis Eze, who happens to be our national coordinator in Singapore. Yes, and my very self joining him in this cross session of Asia coordinators. I still remain your humble servant, Mazi Charles Opanwa. We are here. We do come your way every Sunday, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Take the note, mark it, jot your calendar. Every Sunday, 5 a.m. Cross-session of Asia coordinators do come your way via Radio Biafra, where we bring you the gospel of truth, where we tell you things the way they are. You don't have any reason of listening to gossip. They say it's like you come here, we tell you the truth the way it is, and some of the things that are still baffling you when you come here, we bring it your way as it happens. We are going to the last topic we need to touch before we wind it up. It's quite unfortunate that the time is running so fast. The time is running so fast. We're going to wind it down, but before that time, we have to talk about the need to support ESN. the Eastern Security Network, the need to support them financially. I mean, especially those in diaspora. If you do not belong to any family in IPOB, you better find a family there and belong and make your donation through the appropriate channels for the men that have staked their life on the line, trying to protect our land, preventing the intruders from taking over our bush and forests. Some of them left their wife, their family, just because of you and me. Come rain, come shine, they are there in the bushes, combing our bushes, trying to stop the invaders from taking over. We owe them our prayers wherever you are. We owe them our prayers. Especially, we also owe them our financial support because because of their dedication, because of their commitment. It is true that these days, people would like to copy something, but I remember one advert they made with one analgesic, one tablet. They said if it is not, they mentioned that tablet. They said if it is not this, then it is. It's not. There's nothing like it works like. It is like, it has been mentioned several times in this hallowed platform that we have only one ESN, not criminals claiming to be what they are not. Under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the structure he put in place, the Directorate of States, yes, we have our ESN, the men that are working, the men that are stopping criminals from invading and taking over our land. Notwithstanding that, the politicians are now trying to do. Some of you had what's the name of the short man in the State House? Devil Mahi. Some of you know when he came out and said that he's going to duplicate IPOB, he's going to create his own. Yes, so when you see some of these things happening, you know that maybe you have succeeded in sponsoring some people claiming to be IPOB, claiming to be ESN, and they are fighting their political opponents. They use them as an instrument for politics to fight their opponents, spilling innocent blood, going places, destroying houses, burning places, and all that and what have you, including with his Ibudago. I mean, he will do one with people he gave name, and he will also do the other one with the part of opposition. But in Eastern Security Network, there's only one on Eastern Security Network. Forget about people coming up with name, Muhammad in this and that. No. What we have is Eastern Security Network, QED, and these men are doing their work. Their work is very simple. Their work is defined, well defined, and they are living up to the standard of that work. I encourage you, whatever you are, those, especially those in the diaspora, to continue to give their support to Eastern Security Network. When you do this, do it through the right channel. Do not put your money where it will be used for criminality. Do not give your money where it will be turned to something else. Find an IPOB family under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Get any of the principal officer, tell them you want to make donation to the Eastern Security Network. We encourage every one of you to continue to encourage these men out there, the men that have staked their life, because they want our support. They want our encouragement. We must support them. We must support them. Mazi Dennis, yes, Mazi Dennis says it. I don't know if you have anything to say regarding the support for Eastern Security Network. It seems our time is fast running and we'll be winding up. It's almost top of the hour. So Mazi Dennis says it. Yeah, say something about the Eastern Security Network. Support.
Yes, Mazi, thank you. of course, is a very, very important thing to support Eastern Security Network, because that is only security outfit that we trust. You know, it's a trusted security network that we have, which is our own. So I call on our brothers, those who have not joined the family, to please try all their possible best in order to support Eastern Security Network. They can join the families wherever they are, so that they can be able to support. It's our own. And we also need to understand that those men who left their houses, they're also human beings. And this time around is time of lot of raining. So they are suffering there over the bush, securing our territory, probing all the bushes, not allowing those invaders to penetrate. Is a very big task which they are doing. And we cannot just let them stay like that. It is our own effort. We need to put effort in order to help them, in order to assist them, in order to provide for them, in order to support them. At least give them that courage, because your support will bring courage to them. What they are doing is a very big work. It's not easy. Even you yourself, when they ask you to go, you may not be able to do what they are doing. So please, it's very, very important that we support our own. It is our own. Without them, I don't even know what would have become of that eastern region by now, because of the rate Fulanis were invading our territory and our land, destroying the crops, you know, in our farm. So it's very, very good if we can try our best in order to support them and provide for them whatsoever that they need, so that they will continue to do the good work and do the needful. So this is what I have to say about this. I encourage our people to continue, keep on keeping on, as we march victorious in less than no time. Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you, Mazi. Dennis as our coordinator in Singapore. Like I said earlier on, this is concession of Asia coordinators coming to you live on Radio Biafra. We are always here every Sunday, same time, 5 a.m. Biafra land time. We will be winding up. I will ask Mazi Dennis Eze to give his closing remarks and thank our listeners.
Thank you. I want to say a very big thanks to all our listeners, those supporters, people of goodwill, and freedom fighters, our brothers, mostly those at home. I want to thank you all for being steadfast, and also your commitment is highly commendable. I also want to thank all our principal officers, our leaders. The work we are doing behind is yielding fruit. I want to encourage you all to remain strong and be courageous. Do not slack back. What we are looking for, what we are fighting for, is just for a very little time. Just a little time. It's just only patience. Remember that Israelites, they spent 40-something years in the wilderness. But at the end of the whole tunnel, the whole thing, they went to their promised land. So this our own time. What we need is patience, and to do whatsoever we are asked to do. That's the most important thing. Like our leader used to say, obey before complain. It is very, very important that we should learn through what we have been taught by our leader many years ago, so that is only thing that will move us forward. So I want to encourage everybody. We shouldn't slack back, and we should let's listen to gossip, because they gossip us. They are only there to destroy you. They are only there to tell you things that will spoil your mind, spoil your mood. The things that will make you to say, oh, how long is this thing going to stay? I'm not interested to do anymore. I don't want to support again. That's the only thing. Then when you do that, they will rejoice. They will feel, yes, they have gotten you. They will have gotten you because all their plan is to destabilize everything. So, but it's dead on arrival because they have already fell and the victory is ours. So let us continue to push forward. In less than no time, you will see that everything will be fine, and we will have our nation back. I want to thank you all. Continue to listen as we will come on your way again next week. Thank you so much. Our family here is also greeting you all. Thank you, Mazi. Over.
Thank you, Ndewo, Mazi, Dennis, Eze, IPOB, Muremma, Ndeja, Gamba. Mazi, continue with the good work you're doing in our Singapore family. Before we wind it up for the day, I have two announcements to make. Please listen carefully. Number one is about our atonement prayer. The IPOB atonement prayer will be coming up on the 4th, sunset. It will start on sunset on Tuesday, 4th October. Tuesday, 4th October, the same day that the rendition case of Nnamdi will be coming up on the Federal High Court, Sunday. And it will end, the atonement prayer will end at sunset on Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. It is our duty to pray and atone for our sins and ask Chukwu Kikabia Makomera Nebere and forgive our sins and help us restore Biafra in no distant time. Also, you pray for the release of our Nnamdi. This particular day is a special, this day is a special day in our calendar. Do not forget, sunset on the 4th till sunset on the 5th, Tuesday and Wednesday, IPOB atonement prayer. Another special date is on the 16th and the 17th of October, where the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide will be having their 1 million man march. It will be coming up in United Kingdom. 1 million man march. On the 16th, we are going to march on the streets of Liverpool. Liverpool will hear from us. We will be live there at Liverpool Stadium, where we will make the world to understand our plight, the trouble, what we have been going through, what we are subjugated to in the zoo. Yes, and come 17th, we'll be in London, in front of number 5 Berry Street, where that gospel of restoration will be preached. Do not miss it. Those in diaspora, make plans to be there 16th and 17th. Anywhere you're coming from, anywhere you are, if you can, make plans to be there. Make plans to be part of that Ipob history march that will be taking place on that day. Before we close, I want to thank all our listeners for their time, especially those that did not touch the dial. You seated, you waited, you listened, and you digest all that we brought your way today. I say, may Chukwu Kikabiyama bless you and preserve you. In this week, good things will come your way. Whatever thing you touch your hand shall be blessed. Sickness will be far from you. Good things will happen to you at ease. You don't need to struggle too much about it. Let us continue to keep on. Let us continue to remember our leader in our prayers. Let us continue to pray for each other, especially we pray for the restoration of Biafra in no distant time. The Taiwan family, of which I represent IPOB Taiwan, they send their greetings. Oga Brumi Haro, after being here, and I will miss to send their regards. They asked me to greet all Biafrans worldwide, especially those in Biafra land. Our coordinators at home, they're still doing the work. those in the media and all that. Hold on to that you're holding. You know, when we say GCK, people don't understand it. It means hold on to that strength. No matter how it tries to fail you, no matter how it tries to shake you off, hold it tight. Hold on to that strength. From me, from here, Mazi, I am going to call it a day. And thank you for listening. See you guys again, same time next week.